I think the crowd tonight is even bigger than what we saw here last night, and light is the answer, and it needs to be shone on just how this happened. I think most Australians agree this is a time to come together, but there are serious questions being raised at the highest levels. Has anti-Semitism been allowed to fester for too long? Has the government failed to crack down on hate speech? And crucially, how were the monsters who committed this act of terror able to fly under the radar?
Amid this incredible and tragic vision, a telling sign terror was about to be unleashed. An ISIS flag draped across the front windscreen of the Akram's explosive-laden car.
Contained IEDs, but I also confirmed that it contained 2 homemade ISIS flags.
Sajid Akram ensured this brave man, Boris Gurman, was the first victim of the killing spree. Boris was at Bondi with his wife of 34 years, Sophia. Sadly, she was next in the terrorists' sights. Akram Sr. then joined his son Naveed to rain bullets down on more innocent people. As the hours tick by, layers of the younger Akram's connection to radical Islam are being peeled back.
Allah will reward you for whatever action you do in His cause. Inshallah, this will save you on the Day of Judgment.
This is Naveed Akram preaching in Sydney 7 years ago, around the time he came to the attention of counter-terrorism police.
Come join us at Bankstown or in your own area and spread Islam.
It's understood Akram has links to controversial cleric Wasim Haddad. Haddad is notorious for violent anti-Semitic lectures. He came to our attention for citing religious texts about the killing of Jews.
If my comments were in any way, shape or form illegal, why am I still free?
A current affair caught up with Haddad in 2016. At the time, he was raising money to hire lawyers for alleged extremists. Who would you like to see out of jail that's in there right now that you're raising money for?
All the innocent Muslims.
It's understood Naveed Akram worshipped at Western Sydney's Al Medina Dawah Centre. It was there he was recruited as a street preacher for Haddad's Dawah Van organisation. Haddad's never been charged with terrorism offences. ACA could not reach him for comment regarding his association with Bondi shooter Naveed Akram. Through a lawyer, Haddad said he vehemently denies any knowledge of or involvement in the shootings that took place at Bondi Beach. What's up?
Yeah.
What happens now then? How many more donations here?
Well, what happens now? I drive off and we end this. See you later.
This with the revelation of Akram and his dad's recent trip to the nursery ground for Islamic extremism in the southern Philippines.
And where they went when they were there is under investigation.
Raises the question whether ASIO or our federal and New South Wales Police Force intelligence suffered a catastrophic failure.
Yeah, it's a very good question, and it's a question that is going to be asked.
Peter Moroney is a former New South Wales Police Detective Sergeant and counter-terrorism expert.
The fact that 2 individuals have been able to plan, undertake what they've done, and to be able to execute it with what they've done without the knowledge of any law enforcement agency, then there is only one answer to that question. Then yes, it was a fundamental failure.
ASIO found no evidence during its 6-month investigation that either the father or son had been radicalised. How times have changed. AFP Commissioner Chrissy Barrett.
This investigation will be highly visible, precise, and it will operate around the clock.
Our Prime Minister prefers to steer the conversation towards reforming our gun laws.
Consideration that will take place includes limiting the number of guns an individual can own, the type of guns that are legal, whether gun ownership should require Australian citizenship, and accelerating work on the National Firearms Register.
And I hope that this terrible event will be a wake-up call to those who've been asleep at the wheel.
The man behind the biggest gun reform in our history in the wake of the Port Arthur tragedy isn't buying it.
The focus on guns to be used as a pretext to avoid the broader debate about the spread of hatred of Jewish people and anti-Semitism.
John Howard was scathing of Anthony Albanese in his first public comments since the terror attack.
His greatest failure is not to provide the moral leadership that a Prime Minister can in denouncing anti-Semitism.
The political fallout is being felt around the country. In Melbourne, it was the Premier feeling the heat.
I welcome the Deputy Prime Minister, the Honourable Richard Marles MP, the Premier of Victoria, the Honourable Jacinta Allen MP, the Deputy Premier, Ben Carroll MP.
We must come together as a nation. I think overwhelmingly that is the feedback that I get across the board of what people want to see.
The country's political and law enforcement hierarchy walking out on questions about those preaching videos involving Naveed Akram.
If there is information and intelligence around in 2019 that he was espousing the certain rhetoric that he was, and there's some more recent intelligence that says he's associated with certain individuals, then that should have been sufficient, I would suggest, for him at least to be tagged onto a flight watch list of some description, so that we knew when he left the country it would be pinged and we could get an understanding of where he's going, who he's travelling with, how long he's going for. What will come and what is coming are going to be a lot of hard number of questions asked of law enforcement and of ASIO.